It is Father's Day today. It's also Shelly's birthday. Happy birthday, Shelly.
That was very enthusiastic.
It was enthusiastic. I'm enthusiastic. It's a big day for me. It's Father's Day. I'm a father. Right, Addie Bear?
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. It has been a great week. We didn't have much on the go yesterday, but I think it's more than worth mentioning. Congratulations to Ronnie Wren last night winning with Blueprint. The horse was amazing. He drove the horse very good. 47-1. I guess it's also worth mentioning Braxton Boyd's horse raced right out of his skin last night. I thought he had the race won twice, ended up just beat at the wire. And I think Scotty was third, right? Come out of the clouds. James, unfortunately, ended up fifth with that light horse, but he had him in a good spot. He just didn't. 47-1.
Yeah.
Regardless, is a fast mile. So
What's the 3/4 in 119?
119. Yeah, Ronnie was on fire last night, and Ron Burke had mentioned he teared up talking about his dad not being there last night. You never ever see him like that. But I know that obviously the elder Burke, Ronnie's dad, had passed away this year, and this was, I believe he said, his first North American Cup since then. So he's a little teared up, and he also said that Blueprint was a better version of his dad. Now, was he beginning a marketing campaign already for Blueprint being a sire? I'll tell you one thing. He certainly looks like a sire. He is a tough horse to brush to the lead at the half, massive 3/4, be swarmed at the wire, and it looked to me like twice he was headed down the lane and still was a winner. Just a huge race from him. It was a very good North American Cup. I feel bad. I thought you were home, so I went directly home. Ava and I could have went down to the North American Cup, although I was a little tired at that point in the night too. We'd been going all day, and then had that fierce dance recital. It was actually pretty good. It was pretty good. I saw Ava. It was pretty good. It was my first dance recital of my career. Was last night. Yesterday afternoon, I was mad though. We were going to lunch, and I was going to go to that restaurant I told you about, and it wasn't open till 5. We couldn't go.
Most nice restaurants are open during the day.
At 4 o'clock usually. Nice. The steakhouse is anyway open. If you find yourself going to Northfield, so I'll tell you this: Solon is what, about 15 minutes? Not even. Amy says not even. I'm going to say 15 minutes from Northfield Park, and in Solon there was a restaurant, one of those little hole in the wall. It wasn't really a hole in the wall, but I've never heard of it. Oddly enough, Dr. Latessa's like me. He's a bit of a foodie, and he knew the restaurant like that. He said he'd eaten there before. The food was great. The restaurant was called E-L-L-E. Now, around that area is still a number of steakhouses. Capitol Grill is there. Hyde Park is there. BJ's, if you like that chain restaurant stuff, is there. And then the other place, Firebirds, is around there. So all around that area is fantastic food, but this restaurant was spot on. Little Italian restaurant. It was really good. In Solon, that's important because there's a lot of people coming into town for our open house next weekend. If you want to swing by, I definitely recommend it. I was supposed to turn there. There's another way in. Yeah.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there's another way in here.
Did the car wash not even wash the windshield? Just the sides?
Well, the car wash was not good. Right? It just wasn't a good car wash.
Why?
Yeah.
It appears we can't.
Yeah, it appears that I was supposed to turn back there. I'll do a U-E up here. As you may know, we're at Ollie's baseball game. His team won both games yesterday and looked very good in doing so. They're playing in the third game, and hopefully the championship game of the tournament today would be nice. They certainly have had a great start. This is called a U-turn. There's no sign saying I can't do one, therefore I can. Unless this guy beeps. Can he beep? No.
Day.
Because it's Father's Day, Addie. Yes, I'm allowed to do U-turns on Father's Day. I never even thought about that rule. Good job, Addie. Anyway, we're at the ball tournament. It's going to be a great weekend. The weather is very, very nice. Those guys are playing cricket. There's a large Indian community in this area. Is it Brantford? Brampton. In Brampton. I always found cricket kind of cool. They're playing it over there.
I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, I don't understand
Why do they have garbage cans?
Well, I think that is where I don't know. I don't know why you would have a garbage can in cricket, but
You didn't have garbage.
no, they're playing a different sport over there. Anyway, a great week of racing for us, a great week of qualifying for us. We're going to talk about some of the horses that raced. We're going to talk about the babies that certainly were exceptionally good this week. The Meadows was a lot of fun getting the horses ready. And of course, our first big test, although I was wrong. Do you know who our first 2-year-old race of the year is? Oh, you probably know. What's that? That's not Cherry's Girl. That's why I said just, it's Dune. Dune is the first test of our 2025 summer. She is going to be racing in Michigan on Tuesday. So I don't think I'm proper in this spot. So that'll be very, very exciting. You know, we've all talked about how good Dune's looked. I've talked to a number of people. Donnie trained her on Friday and said, what a nice filly this is. I said, everybody that's ever sat behind her has said the exact same thing. Just a beautiful filly with, you know, the only dig on Dune is that she's only Michigan bred from James's standpoint anyway. So really, really happy. She's going to kick off our 2025 2-year-old season. Can you go to the playground? Is she allowed to go to the playground? Okay, when you cross the parking lot, remember, cars, right? Okay, get going.
Do you want your sweater on?
You okay like that?
Yeah.
Okay, watch both ways, right?
You don't want a sweater?
Don't leave it there though, okay?
This thing's like paper.
Yeah, no, we bought it. Okay, you can put it on over there, Boo-Boo. It's all right. Anyway, so the 2-year-olds are looking pretty exciting.
Just go sit over.
Yeah, can you go over there for a bit with her, Ave? Just see what's going on.
Ava.
Ava, can you go over there with her for a little bit? You're only listening to
Right there.
Ava, you're only listening to stuff anyway. Go. Skedat. Hey. I know, I can't remember if it sounded like a question, but it was not a question. It was a command. Out you go. Let's go. Anyway, excited about the Kentucky 2-year-olds that are heading out this week. We're going to have 6 horses. Ava, out of the car right now. Go.
To take these out. Do you want me to take these out? You don't have to.
You don't want to listen to them over there, Ava. As long as you don't lose them, honey, I don't care. It's perfectly fine. And I will be taking those back for my trip to Kentucky next week on Monday also. In case you're wondering.
Why do you need them?
I listened to them on the airplane. That's why I bought them. You thought I was going to drive 9 hours to Oak Grove, race, and then drive all the way back to the Meadows for the next morning? You don't know what I'm doing? If you're not going to be a more chipper Amy on my Father's Day, then I'm not going to talk to you. Then you're not welcome to do my video with me.
No, it's good.
Are you done? Only smiles and nice stuff for the rest of the video. So, we're going to get right into it. Last week we had some horses racing. As I said, we're going to talk about the 2-year-olds. We're going to talk about who's going to Kentucky, who's qualifying this week. We are going to talk about, first and foremost, the race horses. Last week, Blue Ventura kicked it off. He raced well the other day. Third, just beat at the wire. But, you know, when you get mired in traffic and you pace 56, 57, and then you're asked to go out and go in 53 again, it's a little difficult, right? I thought the horse raced very, very well. He never gave an inch, and he tried right to the wire, and you can't ask him to do much more than that. Now, Grand Slam Dio, 3 in a row, in case you're wondering, for the big girl. 55 the other day. Yeah, she raced very, very good. Quarter poled, and she was kind of uncomfortable. It's so weird. She dropped down to the lead and grabbed a hold of the bit, but around the turn at the half, she's always looking at that gate. She's just saying, well, we got most of the race done. You want to go back to the paddock now? Want to head back now? And you just kind of got to growl at her, and she took off. But she's turned into a very versatile filly. I always thought she did not do her best work near the front end, but certainly looked good her last 3 starts in the Meadows, and punched a ticket back to Kentucky this year, which I think she deserved. I mean, a mile and 55 on a hot day at the Meadows has got to be 54, 53 in Kentucky, which puts her somewhere in the mix down there. She's not a Lasix filly. She works. She's doing very well at her work and leaves well, can get spotted well. And it already finished 27 or 28 seconds a couple of times since we've raced her back. So Grand Slam Dio heading to Kentucky. She will be the only sophomore joining Eric and Kathy in Kentucky. We'll talk about the rest of their stable in a minute. But Grand Slam Dio was great this week. Freedom Hill third, just beat for second. Should have probably won the race. But it's really hard to try and poke holes in the game of a horse that is always on the board, always making money, always advancing. And then, the biggest savior of all is when you look at the top and there's only 3 wins there. It just keeps all these paths open for Freedom Hill. So a little disappointed that she's being a little flat on the end of the mile, but very, very happy that she's racing well. Very happy with the way Freedom Hill has gone through her 2025 season thus far. Now, Captain Incredible, you watch Captain Incredible go, or you just see the last quarter? Tell the truth.
No, I did not watch his race.
You didn't watch the video or the quarter or nothing?
You called me and we talked about the race after.
Didn't even watch it?
I didn't watch it, no.
Didn't even watch it? Just, what were you doing?
I don't know.
Just not watching for sure.
I was doing something.
Captain Incredible. Captain Incredible was very, very good this week. Really happy with him. He's still scrubbing on that right knee just a little bit. So I told him we hit that go straight over there. I don't really want to put it. It's a little unsightly. But at the same time, if it's going to keep him out of his knee and he's going to be able to pick up speed and advance quicker, I'm all for trying it and seeing if it helps. I think we've exhausted. I don't want to go down the avenue of eschewing any more than we are. I'm happy with the way he shod. Is there something we can maybe do to help him out? It may not. It may hinder, actually. So we'll see how he does this week. We are going to have a +1, if not +2, leading into the Adios. You look at all these good 3-year-olds, all these horses. Blueprint, I don't know where he'll be at the Adios, if he's there or not.
He'll be there for sure.
We'll have all these good horses there. And I just, as I said to Tim, I don't know if this colt is going to be completely physically and mentally ready to race in the Adios. If he gets in with a tough field, you can always run him left, run him up the wood. You still have to make the final to begin with. You can always race him accordingly. But I do want to have him in the fittest form he can be heading into that, regardless if Blueprint's not there and Swingtown's not there and all these good colts are not there. If it's like a middle of the road bag of horses, well, I think it's important that we have Captain. It sounds so silly, talking about Captain Incredible in the same breath and sentences these other tremendous animals said, but they've got a chance to get there, right? Like Blueprint raced his entire 2-year-old year and was a killer his whole 2-year-old year. It was a killer now as a 3-year-old, but has 13, 14, 15 starts where Captain Incredible hasn't had an opportunity to face Stakes Company yet. So I'm certainly in no way, shape, or form trying to compare the two colts. Blueprint is a world champion, the best 3-year-old on the planet right now. But we still get to race these horses, right? And our first test will be the Adios, and I want to make sure that Captain Incredible is the very best he can be. Listen, he has to be ready for 48, 49 when he goes to the Meadows, when he goes to the Adios. If he's not, then it's a moot point. You're right. So Captain Incredible's mile the other day was good, 27-3, so he's up to the quarter, better part of 28 seconds, and wins in 51-1. What?
Ready?
What? What's wrong? Speak.
No.
Speak.
Go ahead.
Speak.
No, I was just talking about your fractions. Don't.
We'll talk about that later.
No, we won't.
Sure we will. We can talk about it right now if you want.
No, I don't want to.
Oh, I will then. Amy rode her driver's test the other day, so Amy wanted to go. A lot of people, and I'd said this to Amy before, a lot of people, you see me talking about the stable, but you don't see all the work that she does behind the scenes, all the training she does. She schooled horses before. So Amy was hoping that she could get like a qualifying license, a trainer's license she already had a trainer's license, but she could qualify some of the babies if needed. And she did. She rode her driver's test the other day, and congratulations. You passed your driver's test. Now you got to go a rated mile. And if she gets a rated mile done by Monday, she will, in fact, be able to, they believe anyway, Chris was adamant he probably should be able to, she will be able to qualify some of the babies on our open house, which would be very, very cool and well-deserved. So probably let you go with, let me see who. Hanger one's not going to qualify. I don't know who we'll let you go with yet, but we'll see. So, Chicago Hall, another horse, and this is a huge storyline this week also, because Blue Rare. bled, and she's going to make her first lifetime start on Lasix. And that also is one of those unsightly things, the things where you're looking like, geez, But Chicago Hall did the very same thing last year, right? His first lifetime start was on Lasix and turned into be a pretty nice horse. Remember, he bled the day that I went with him. So, oh no, he bled his first start on James in the Tompkin Gears. And then we put him on Lasix, I believe. Right? I qualified him. He qualified great. We didn't scope him the day I qualified him.
Because remember you
We tried at 27 and 3.
Barbecued him or whatever.
Yeah. I qualified him where he was supposed to qualify is what I did.
You ruined him.
Yeah. And, the opposite of how they qualify at Mohawk. 2-6, 24 and 4 on the end of it.
Yeah.
And then they went and race their horses. So he bled. I didn't think also to scope him that day because he had qualified 57 and 3, 27 and 3 on the end of it. You're not thinking he had bled, but that's kind of what happened with Blue Rare also. She qualified that first day for James, 28 seconds on the end of it. Nobody scoped her. And lo and behold, we come back with a qualifier. Another quarter and 28 and a piece.
I know. No, 29 and 1. But...
Oh, I thought it was 28 and 4.
No, but she was
still bled, so
she's still advancing.
They're still advancing, so which is always good, and we're going to help her out with the bleeding. And as I said, Chicago Hall did the same thing last year. Now it's funny because Chicago Hall was consistently 55, 54, 55, 54, somewhere around there. Then we go to racing without hobbles on. He was going to be first, second, or third. I think third the other night, and makes a break coming out of the turn. They went in 53, and then comes out to his very next start and wins in 53, 27, and 2. On the end of it. So the horse looked very, very good. I think the only difference is the way that James wants to drive in a very, flashy James-like drive, take him back and have him sprint. He's not that horse. He's like a big, heavy workhorse. So Jody put him in the race a couple of times, and then, when he moved him over, he did advance, right? But he followed most of that 27 seconds down the lane and then moved over and finished it off. Whereas, rather than fanning him across the track from 5th at the head of the lane and asking him to trot 27 seconds, he followed. It's hard to explain. It's not, well, a little bit. I don't want to say it like that, but a little bit. The following part was easy, and then when he moved him over, he kind of lumbered past everybody. Whereas if you moved him out 3 wide coming out of the last turn, I don't think he would trot 27 and 2 to get there. Does that make sense? It's hard to explain to you guys from a driver's standpoint how that would be, but that's the way that I saw it. Anyway, but nevertheless, 53 and 3, 27 and 2, the horse looked very, very, very good. Looks like money, got back to his winning ways, and now I had a plan. And it was going to be one of 2 ways with Looks Like Money. So when we're going out, first off, it poured rain, so you know how much I love the rain and the mud. And then it stopped raining, so now it's just slop. So I'm thinking, I go out of there, I got to look left because Guido D's the 3 can leave. And the rail horse is coming out of like a 20 claimer, but winning 52 and 1 his last start at the Meadows. So what happens is you have this horse that shows that he's faster than the other horses he's in with, but has never raced against, or I shouldn't say has never in a while anyway, raced against that type of company. A 20 claimer is not the open trot. But nevertheless, he showed first quarter in 26 and a piece. He can leave hard and can get out of there. So I have to look left. I have 2 jobs. Look left, don't stretch Looks Like Money getting ahead of these 2 horses, and make sure that Dave Pallone does not get ahead of you going into the first turn, right? Those are the 2 jobs. So I look left, Guido D's backing up right away. Now, I know that Jeremy wants to follow me with the rail horse, but that's not going to happen. So I come out of there medium speed, I look left, and then I advance right away, and I push hard going into the turn because I want Dave either he's not going to sit in the 3-hole either, right? So you have to understand how the race is going to go.
Making this very complicated.
Because it was complicated. For a very easy race, it was complicated. Chapelair beat me fair and square 2 weeks ago, and then beat me because I got locked in last week.
Are you saying that you went out there and you were doing some defensive driving?
I actually was.
You're not allowed to do that. I just wrote my test.
No, I did it in a very, very methodical way. I didn't hook anybody's wheel. I didn't do anything wrong. So I'm trying to explain to you what happened. I knew that I wanted Dave Pallone behind me so that he couldn't quarter pole to the front and I could get a breather. If I get him in the 3-hole, when I tap the brakes, out comes Dave Pallone to clear to the front, and I have to let him go. So I want him in behind me, not in the 3-hole. I want him in the 2-hole. So I blast him from halfway out of the gate to the turn. I clear to the front, and I keep rolling, and Dave keeps coming, and he gets in front of Jeremy. Now, when that happened, I thought The only way Chapelair beats me now is if he's just a flat-out better horse, and I don't think he's a better horse. So I tap the brakes. We go 28, 57,
Did
and
you
4.
cause confusion in the field behind you?
I
That's
did
a
not.
Violation.
I did not do that. So we go 57 and 3. Nobody's coming. Dave Plone and I are the two best horses. No one is coming. 57 and 57 and 3. Just before the last turn, I know that Dave Plone's horse does not trot the turns good. So if you watch, you would think you just sit, and then head of lane, you would race him. No, I didn't do that.
Stepped on the gas.
I dropped the hammer getting into the last turn, and I opened up 2-3 lengths, and Dave couldn't keep up, and he ended up only beat maybe 3/4 of a length or a length. He was coming to Looks Like Money again at the wire, and we come 27 and 4. So he actually, if they charted him properly, when we got to the 3/4 pole, he was probably 2 lengths behind me. Mm-hmm. He probably trotted 27 and 2, 27 and 3 on the end of it in the mud to get beat. But he raced very good, and Looks Like Money raced very, very good also. So regardless if I got away in the front or in the 2-hole, I was moving him getting into the last turn, and thankfully for us, I didn't have to. So Looks Like Money was a winner in the Open again. That's his 8th Open victory of the year, 7th at the Meadows, and he has looked tremendous and actually went over 100 grand US for the year, I believe, in his victory on Friday. Not outdone, but looked very good also. Was Time Is On My Side. I talked to James after. He said, I got away in a bad spot. I should have blasted harder. He said what happened was some inside horses were leaving, outside horses were leaving, and I get stuck 5. And now I got to come first over. If he leaves harder, he can sit third. And I'd said this in the video, but this is all hindsight stuff. You know, he watched how the race was unfolding, steps out of the gate. The outside horses are blasting hard anyway. The inside horses are holding position. He got away 4th or 5th, and he ended up first over. That's not where you want to be with Time Is On My Side. He hung out in the last turn a little bit. Did you watch the race?
Yeah.
And then coming out of the last turn, it looked like he was going to be 8th.
No, I was on the phone with you during the race.
Oh. It looked like he was going to be... You're allowed... Like, they have the replays of the races.
I was doing something. Mm-hmm. We were talking on the phone. And
no, but I just mean that...
I heard your comments, which weren't as nice as...
No, I wasn't super mad. I knew when he came first over, that was not the place to be with him. But James knew that also. What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. The race is set in motion when you are going into the first turn. You can say, I don't want to be here. Well, it's too bad. That's where you're at. There's nothing you can do about that. So what you could have done was back there. It's too late. It's too late now. So, but in reference to the races, they show the videos like almost immediately after the race, and then you can still watch them for years to come. Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure.
That's why I don't know why you're worked up about it.
Well, because I was trying to talk to you about it, but you don't really have any information to add because you didn't see the race.
Sorry about that.
No, don't beat yourself up over it. It's okay. So, Time Is On My Side. Looked like he was going to be 8th coming in the last turn, but then advanced down the lane and finished 4th, beat 2. 49 and 4, 26 on the end of it, and looked very, very good doing it. It would be unfair for me to say, and I think, factually speaking, looking at what he's done and what he can do, he will beat those horses at some point down the road. Now, one of these starts coming up. I think the next one's a graduate, and then the next one's in with Aged Company. 2 of them in the next 5 weeks. So these are 4-year-olds.
Why?
The Dave Brower Memorial, right?
Oh, yes.
And the Houghton are both aged horses. Yeah, that's different.
But those are 3
and then we have 2 more legs, the graduate and the final also. So Time Is On My Side.
He's at the Meadowlands for a bit.
5 weeks. And then July the 12th, he gets a short break. I know somebody said, well, Anthony, he can go to Philadelphia, he can go there. Just so we're clear, he is not racing after July the 12th. And that is set in stone. We won't be deviating from that. I know that everybody has a thing they're looking at. July the 12th, Time Is On My Side is going to the field for 3 weeks. We'll have him ready to come back and race in Scioto at the Jim Ewart Memorial. And then he goes to the Dayton Derby. And then he goes to the Breeders' Crown. So that's how he'll finish out his stakes calendar for 2025. Save America, although it wasn't a stake race and it wasn't a big race and it wasn't a big purse, he returned to Charlottetown Driving Park last night with an easy win in a very moderate purse money race, an open race there. But at the same time, missed the track record by 3/5 of a second and looked exceptionally good doing it. And I think the biggest storyline, aside from winning, aside from having a horse down at PEI and everybody celebrating that, was, I hope it's not lost on everybody what it meant for that young man to drive that horse last night. Kenny Murphy, I remember Kenny Murphy probably when he was in diapers. And this is Cliff Murphy's son, Steve, another whole family. And to see him go out and win that race last night, it must have been really, really exciting for him. I know what it's like to be a kid from PEI and to have an opportunity. I remember that feeling. You know, there's lots of stuff that happened to you throughout your life, and you really don't remember how it feels. But I'll never forget how it feels to drive a good horse for the first time. You're like, wow, this is so unlike any. It'd be like being forced to drive a Kia your whole life, and then somebody toss you the car keys to a Maserati and say, hey, take it for a spin, tell me what you think. That feeling, driving a horse like Save America, when you've never driven a horse like that, is an incredible feeling. And quite frankly, to do it in front of a hometown crowd is pretty exhilarating. So great job by Kenny, and so happy for him that he got to do that and that we could play a role in that. And then a horse that a couple of years removed from PEI, Patrick Leprana, raced good also yesterday. Just finished second, beat 3/4 length and 50-2 at the Meadows.
It's so weird, eh?
Well, that wasn't the Open. He's 3 classes from the top.
He's still...
Well, he's just a killer. He's just a good horse. You know, here's the thing.
Just so I think we figured it out. Like, he needs 8 starts and then a break.
No, with like Patrick, what he needs is a fountain of youth. Off. He's 10 years old.
Yeah, but like,
you know, he was an open pacer, a solid middle, like a solid top of the food chain open pacer at the Meadows. It'd be like looks like money. Like check in 4 years. He's going to be a middle of the road horse. These horses can't go forever, and Patrick Leprana just slipped the hair.
He bounced back after his little break.
Oh, good horses always bounce back.
He was kind of in a funk.
He was, but we were asking him to race at Northfield, and they were, you know, he was drawing bad, and he was doing this, and he was doing that. You know, if you drive him accordingly, and that young man that's been driving too, talk about a kid that's been doing good. Sean Johnson drove the horse great yesterday, drove tenacious as good as he could, finished 4th, but again, much like James, got stuck in a place you don't want to be, but you don't always get to pick where you want to get away, right? You know what you want to do, but if it coincides with what someone else wants to do, there's not much you can do about that. So a great race from him, and Sean did a great job with him. Now, over the last 2 weeks, we've seen some incredibly good qualifiers. Our first start of the year, as I said, for the 2-year-olds, switching to the 2-year-olds, was Dune. A lot of hype coming out of Michigan for Dune. I think everybody that has a horse in Michigan knows who Dune is already. And just so excited to see her race. Donnie trained her for the first time on Friday and said, man, what a nice filly this is. And he's right. She's a very, very nice filly. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch her all year. Maybe still trying to get to Michigan this summer, do you think? Maybe. So Lauren's there right now. So why don't you just stay and drive the filly? Like, she has horses. I think Donnie has other horses that's racing that day that she owns a piece of.
Yeah.
So I told her, so why don't you just stay and drive Dune? So I don't know if she's going to or not, but Dune is going to race on Tuesday. Now, our first horse up here racing, well, not up here. Our first horse up here will likely be Simply Chaotic and Blue Rare, and that might be next week. We'll be racing. But our first horse in the U.S., around Ohio and Pennsylvania to race will be Cherry's Girl. She's going to race in a maiden on Wednesday. They're calling for rain on Wednesday, but it's a lot less now, and hopefully by the time Wednesday comes, it'll be done. Cherry's Girl is going to make her first start on Wednesday. Diosa Della Danza, I haven't made my mind up yet what I wanted to do with Diosa Della Danza. You know, I'd said to you quietly, you know, she is Kentucky bred, so she could sneak down to Oak Grove her first start. But I think we'll just hang out around the Meadows. She'll either requalify or she'll race this week, one or the other. And don't ask again, did you watch her qualifier?
Yep.
Look better, eh? Mm-hmm. 2-3, 28 and 29 seconds on the end of it. Last half, 58-4. Now, I told you I was hoping when she saw the starting gate, she came to life. I put her nose right on the car. She trotted right out of there and was very, very good the whole mile. So hopefully that's the start of an improving and good-looking filly in Don't Ask Again. Go Strong Hanover, truthfully, was my only letdown a little bit. His qualifier wasn't bad, but just his overall attitude, he was striking at himself a little bit, hitting his jacks. I forgot until I sat behind him. Locatelli did the same thing, right? Hit his jacks, got out of gear. Remember, he wore the high trot boots his whole life. Mm-hmm. And that's why he really couldn't snap off the car, because remember, he chews at himself behind and he can't really get out of there. So, in that respect, he's not that different from his older brother, but his attitude needs to come. We're going to put a chain in his mouth, Going to put trot and hobbles on him. We changed his shoes the other day, so I'm excited to see how Go Strong Hanover qualifies this week coming up. Highest Honors. Did you watch him? Did you watch them all?
I watched all of them.
Did you?
Yeah.
He was very good. 27 and a piece on the end of it, and closing in. Looked very good. He's going to make his first start this week, I believe, also at the Meadows.
There was actually, I was not interested, but I don't know what the word is. Not shocked, but I saw there was a lot of Ohiobreds there. Getting their qualifier in on a 5/8 for the next generation, I'm assuming.
I saw a press release the other day. They're 3 short of the next generation. They need 2 more spots sold for the Philly Trot.
Really?
Yep, and the Philly
Pace. But you're not allowed
Pace.
to put 2 in.
I don't think so. I don't think you're and they're not going to change the rules for it. So
they won't go with it if they don't fill it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they need 2 more sold.
So they would rather scratch the race than have a double entry.
Well, I just don't think they want to have they want to set a precedent with entries in there. They said no the first year. I would be surprised if they're allowed. No, I'll text Jason Roth, but I highly doubt they'll take entries for the next generation. But we'll see. I'll send the message out because now we can't help with the pacing because we don't have another pacer. But most definitely, an Aunt Sarah could make her debut in the next generation also if we could get 2 in there. So I doubt it. I shouldn't even have said that, but we'll see. I suspect people are going to see the thing and say, okay, well, we'll put a horse in. I'm hopeful anyway. That's exactly what will happen in regards to next generation. The Colts are already set in stone. They're all done. We have a horse in every distinction of the next generation anyway. So I was extremely happy with what I saw from Highest Honors. And then Uncle Danny looked incredible.
Yeah, he did.
And I don't think people understand when you move a horse in the turn like that, they don't usually accelerate so quickly. I moved him over to let him advance, and immediately he went from 3rd gear to 5th gear and just inhaled the front runner and opened up. And you guys know how much I love that merciless style of training and racing. And Uncle Danny certainly looked like he had it. We'll talk about him in a minute. As good as he looked, I see that. As good as he looked, I don't know that I've ever qualified a more easily impressive trotter as Jailbird Jog. We spent the week talking about the direction she's headed, what our options are, what our paths are, which way we're going to go. I think as of right now, it does look like, in fact, she is going to make her way to Oak Grove, and we're just going to stay in the state of Kentucky for the entirety of the summer. That's my belief, and then hopefully head to Ontario for the Breeders' Crown with her. That would be cool, but I don't want to get ahead of my skis when it comes to Jailbird Jog, but it's really hard not to at least think about it. She is an incredibly gifted trotter, and we had so many nice horses, and for her to stand out somewhat in the group of horses we had says a lot to how good she actually was the other day. My name's Wayne. Did you see her go? Mm-hmm. She looked very, very good also. We'll probably qualify her. You could go with her if you get your license. She was a sweetheart to go.
Meadows, isn't she?
No, we're going to go with her at Northfield next week. She was really, really good. July 5th is her first stake race at the Meadows.
That would have been a good horse for me to do my mile with.
Wayne? Yeah, we're not going to ship her over here for that. So don't worry, there won't be a problem getting a horse to go a mile with. Perfect Thought was great. 26-4 in the end of it, last half 55-3. And a lot of people are talking about this filly, as they should. She is an incredibly good filly. She'll qualify once more. We may even race her at the Meadows once and then ship her out for the kindergarten will be her first start. She'll stay at the Meadowlands. Pretty Eyes was not bad. 2-2, last half 58, last quarter 29. I told you, Mom. She's just going to get a little bit better every single week.
Are you leaving the open on her? You said she was a little silly.
She wasn't silly. She was a little lazy at times. But there's no need to take the open off her just yet. So Amy made a good point. She's very rare you would see a 2-year-old filly wear nothing. She just wears an open bridle and a head pull that I don't even know if she needs. Yeah. But an open bridle and a harness. That's it. And we might close her up to have her a little more racy when we go to race her. But for now, the qualifying with the open bridle is perfectly fine. Royal Flush Dio was actually much better than I thought he'd be. 2-1, last half 58, last quarter 28 or 29. He was actually pretty good. I was happy with him. He's going to come back for another qualifier this week. Did you look closely at Sweet Light?
Yeah, she came in good.
Last half 56 flat, last quarter 27-2. She looked very, very good. And that mile right there will go a long way to Sweet Lake's growth. Tomboy Strong, I get stuck on the front with her. I went to Gweta there with her.
She's not bad on the front.
She waits a little bit.
Yeah.
Waits a little bit. So that mile, again, another horse that mile went a long way for her. We'll qualify her on the 17th. We'll race her probably the week after at the Meadows, and then she'll go right into the next generation. Uncle Danny, same type of situation. Actually, we entered him to race this week. I just felt like a qualifier was a waste for him. He doesn't need any sort of structured training. The horse just looks incredible right now. And Zena Kemp was good also. We're going to go back with a qualifier and then off to Kentucky with her. She used to wear a snake cord, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because she was
recently not.
She was a little grabby going up to the gate. So I think we'll put that snake cord back on her and a set of earplugs also. Otherwise, I was really happy.
She actually you have to check under her chin. She had like a thing under there. That's why you took it off.
What do you mean?
Like irritated. It was irritated. I don't know what's going on over here, but it's weird.
I think they're just screwing around.
Is he pretending to handcuff him?
I don't know what he's doing. So Zena Kemp was good. Yeah, it's getting hot quick.
So what did she have on when you went with her? Because
just a closed bridle with no earplugs or no hood and nothing.
I schooled her with a hood and no snake.
A little grabby. So off to Kentucky this week. We have 6 horses as of right now, and I know Eric's gonna say, "Yeah, I'm gonna take who? In New York? I'm gonna qualify him on Tuesday." He trained the other day in 2.6. He was training good again. Eric went with him. Oh. Yeah. So when I look at Kentucky coming up, I know Eric's going to say we need 5 stalls. I'll call down and see if we can get a 6th. Degas is heading there. She's going to qualify on Tuesday too. Train good.
Is it a big rush to send her?
Send who?
Grand Slam?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Why wouldn't I send her?
No, is it like if you don't have enough stalls? Like,
no,
can you
it's a huge rush. She races in a stake race on the 23rd. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, she's won her last 3, 56, 56, 55. Why wouldn't we take Grand Slam deal?
I don't know.
So what's that?
She just didn't do very well there last year.
She's not the same horse she was there last year. She's a much better filly now. So Degas, Grand Slam deal in New York, is likely going to head down. He'll likely race in a fair his first race. I don't know if we'll put him right in the stake races. I just don't. I guess it'll depend on how he qualifies. He would have to wow me to end up in a full-on stake race on the following Monday. Jailbird Jog is going to head down, I believe, as of right now. We still haven't finalized everything, but as of right now, I believe she's going to head down. I know, I told them, I said, listen, there'll be nobody happier than Degas if she looks around and she's not on the truck. I can tell you that. None of those fillies really want any part of ours anyway. Nice fillies, but she's just a little bit different. Love Sensation's going to qualify on Tuesday also at the Meadows, and also Zena Kemp re-qualified, and she'll be heading to Kentucky also. So that is your update, your opening video. Who did you think looked the best? The best? Or looked very good? Who surprised you this week? Who wowed you?
Well, wowed me?
Cherry's girl went on the front end too. I told Chris, you might want to put her there and everybody run. And he ended up in the front. And he said, "This is a nice filly." So who do you think? Who wowed you?
So I can't say Jailbird Jog because I expected her to be good.
And that was the same way I said it the other day.
I was actually, I would say for sure, I think Sweet Lake. Because
I
was really not a fan.
Well, because
I always liked Millie Girl better.
Millie Girl tied up a little bit again the other day. She might not be able to make Tuesday, I don't think. So we'll see. We're waiting for her blood work to come back. I'm waiting to hear from Jason and Dr. Latessa regarding her blood work. But she was good. The other filly was, even, I knew she was good and I like her a lot. I've always been a big fan of hers. But even I was a little surprised her line was that good. She was really good, but that good. The horse that I thought was above and beyond what I thought, aside from Sweet Lake, which I'll leave with you, but you're right. Perfect Thought and all those horses, we knew they were going to be good. Uncle Danny, the one that was a little bit better than I expected and really wowed me was Diosa Della Danza. I know how fast she was, but if you had any idea how fast she felt like she was going in the last turn, I didn't start her motor up until after the 3/4 pole, and she still charted 27-3. So the filly looked incredible. I was super happy with the way all 21. Well, it's not very often you put 21 on the track, and all 21 are qualified. And that's exactly what has happened so far. Now, I'm sure as we get everybody ready this week, we're going to have some mistakes. It would be incredibly rare if we didn't. but 21 for 21 is certainly nothing to sneeze at. So a good summer starting out for us. I have a lot to talk about this week, a lot going on this week, keeping a close eye on Captain Incredible. Really happy with the way things have gone with him. And then Grand Slam deal, 3 in a row coming into Kentucky. All the babies, looks like money. All these storylines are starting to present themselves to the summer, and just really excited, as I hope you are. I mean, we work all year for this point, and now we're here. So, where are you going to be this week? Here a lot of the week, or
I don't know.
You don't know yet? Welcome to our summer also. You think yours is busy? Welcome to our summer also. So that is it. That's the opening video for this week. Ollie's game is about to start, minutes away. Good luck to them. I will talk to you all very soon.